back home. You can call in at 508-222-1320. So you guys don't look too stressed out. I mean, I think I butchered the English language enough for you guys to act relaxed. You know what I'm saying? So why don't you guys introduce yourselves, and hopefully we'll get some calls. And if that blue light thing starts blinking blue, we're going to have a couple callers. But why don't we have you guys introduce yourselves first so they know who's here.
I'm Jack Pillar from Norfolk.
I'm Andrew Dittrich from Rentham.
And I'm Shane Frommer from Norfolk.
There you go. And Coach, you want to introduce yourself? We don't want to leave you out, Coach.
I'm Brian Lee from KP.
Now, Coach, how long have you been coaching the system now?
Last year was my 13th year at KP.
Wow. So where were you before that? Just a little history.
I was at Curry College for 5 years before that, and at Walpole High School as an assistant coach for 8 years prior to that.
Excellent. As I adjust the volumes. Again, if you want to call in, 508-22-1320. TJ will have the scores at the bottom half of the hour from Friday night. We got some great games. We actually covered some games on Facebook Live. We'll talk about some of that later. I was going to play a blooper today, but the blooper wasn't going to work out because too much laughing, and I'd have to explain it, and God knows I can't explain anything, so it'll waste most of the show. But again, 508-222-1320. So let's ask you guys right off the bat, what was your expectations? And I know this is probably a general question, but going after doing what you did the year before, going into this year, what were you guys? I mean, personally, between you guys, what were you thinking going into this year? Did you have a good feeling you could repeat?
So expectations probably when we started forming the team for this year after last year's team had that accomplishment, our expectations were probably not exactly to win another state championship right off the bat. We knew there'd be a lot of work. We were probably hoping for maybe one loss in the regular season, make a deep postseason run. But as the ball kept rolling, the expectations did turn into a state championship, probably a couple weeks into the season once we found out that we were a pretty good team. We formed well together.
Now, do both you guys agree? Or do you have your own, own opinion on that?
Yeah, so definitely. So obviously, before the season, all of us look forward to the season, or question ourselves, oh yeah, what can this team do? Because obviously, looking back, that Super Bowl team from 2 years ago is obviously a different team from what we were going to have this year. Because we lose a lot of linemen, lose a lot of great senior captains. We know that as captains this year, we knew how to basically move up, equal ourselves to them and lead this team to another, obviously a great run. And I remember the first few weeks of the season, we were kind of first seeing how we were standing up against other teams like North Attleboro, Foxborough, and after those first few wins, we were yeah, we could really develop something special. And obviously, and it ended in a great result and 2-time Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, I agree with what these guys are saying. Like Shane said, we lost our whole offensive line, so that was a big struggle. I can remember up at camp in our first couple scrimmages, things weren't really going that well. So it looked a little shaky from the start, but then after that first game against North, we were moving the ball, had a great game, and that's when I really knew that this team could be something special again.
There you go.
Do you all have a favorite part of playing?
I'd say my favorite part of playing is defense and probably covering receivers. I mean, I like it when the ball's thrown my way. When you see the ball in the air, that's really when adrenaline hits, and this is your play to make, and I really enjoy that. That's my favorite part of the game.
I'm pretty sure everybody loves it when they get the ball.
Yeah, well, I'm not trying to get the ball. I'm trying to get the ball away from someone.
So obviously, I played running back, and I played safety this year. And obviously, for me, I just playing football in general is it's every moment is awesome to me. Ever since I was a little kid in Pop Warner, I would just love playing the game, going out and practicing every day. And then obviously the games, it's just all that practice you put in, during the summer, and all those hours of time you put in. It's just going out and playing football is just amazing.
Yeah, I agree with what Shane said. My favorite part is probably just that feeling right after we win a game, just celebrating with the guys in the locker room, just your brothers. It's just an awesome feeling. It's probably my favorite part, yeah.
All right, for those people who lived on the proverbial rock, one of the most potent high school football programs in 2017 was, in our opinion, again, King Philip, the Warrior football. And I happen to have the results of last year, so I'm gonna do some bragging right now. So they beat Middleborough on September 8th, 24-14. Beat Foxborough 16-7. That was probably at the time when you guys like feeling each other out, right? What's that? North Attleboro, I'm sorry, 24-14. Then Foxborough 16-7. Attleboro 42-14. Mansfield 28-10. Franklin 17-14. We'll touch on that one. Oliver Ames 42-0. Taunton High 35-7. Barnstable, another league game, 35-20. Mansfield, now we're in the playoff format probably by now, right? 7 games, 35-20. I'm sorry, Mansfield 13-11. Bridgewater Random 29-19, and then Franklin 28-0, and then they won the Super Bowl 10-7. So let's talk. I want to talk about that Franklin game. What happened with that one? Were they just? I mean, one of the again. The Hockomock is probably one of the most well-coached leagues as far as at points. You know what I mean? And you guys had a bullseye on your back from the first time you stepped on the field from what you guys accomplished last year. And you guys probably realized that anyway. So what was the difference out of that one game, I guess I want to say, the Franklin game?
I would say that the one difference that week, it kind of stemmed from our week of practice. I mean, you can always feel it in the air, just like the mood, the vibe that's going on. You can feel if you're having a good practice or not. And the coaches didn't even have to say it. We weren't practicing well. I mean, no one was too excited for that game. We'd already had some great wins, and I mean, some of the guys, I mean, we're just used to beating Franklin, which isn't a good thing. I mean, you want to always look at your opponent like it's a challenge, and we weren't seeing it as a challenge. We just weren't being good football players. Didn't have the right mentality, but good thing we kicked in at the end of the fourth quarter. We finally realized that we had a good opponent in front of us, and we needed to beat them. But it really stemmed from that week of practice. It was probably our worst week of practice that year, and I'm glad we could still make it out of that game alive.
Now, were they already talking? They must have already been talking smack by the fourth quarter at the line of scrimmage, right?
Oh yeah, they definitely were. But I agree with what Andrew said. It was one of our worst. It was our worst week of practice, I'd say, the whole entire year because I remember right before we played Franklin, we had a huge win against Mansfield, and like after that win, that was the win that basically defined our season. Like right there and then, all of us knew that what we could do was great, and that obviously we could make a deep run in the playoffs and win another championship. So I think we kind of just thought like, oh yeah, like we beat Mansfield, oh yeah, like we were like great and all that stuff. And like I think a lot of players like during practice that week like didn't try as hard as we have before. Like I remember practices like over the summer and practices like before North and Foxborough and all that stuff was like really intense, and I didn't feel that intensity like going into Franklin. But after that that risky Franklin win, I think we kind of like realized that we had to bring our all every week.
Yeah, I agree with what Shane said and Andrew said. The week of practice wasn't great. I mean, we started off that game. We got a quick touchdown. Looked like things were going to roll like we usually do. And then they just were moving the ball. They scored. I think they were up 14-7 at half. It was probably the first time we'd really been down at half since who knows when. And then I think we realized that we had to step it up because I mean, they were a better team than years past, and we knew that if we didn't step it up, that it could really hurt our season and just our playoff chances of just screw what the goal we wanted to do.
Oh yeah. Were you guys expecting to play as well as you did?
In the Franklin game?
Well, I meant with your most recent games, with your wins.
We were expecting to play well every game. That was our mentality. Jack, most practices, one of our team mottos, simple but effective. We would just say we're fine. That's always what we would say, and it typically worked out as we won all our games. But yeah, I'd say we did expect to play well. We had this kind of silent confidence in us that we didn't want to share with each other, but we all knew we had it. And I think that really showed in the games, that silent confidence. I mean, everyone had it that was on the field. I mean, some guys on the sidelines might not have had it, but we had all the right guys on the field that had that silent confidence. And I think that really let us expect to go into every game and perform better than the 11 guys in front of us.
Yeah, going off what Andrew said, going into every game, we all knew in our minds that we were the better players, and obviously if we played our best game, we would win every game because going through all the practices, like Coach Wass, our defensive coordinator, he would just give us an awesome game plan every week, and he's just one of the greatest coaches I think I can say for all of them like we've all ever had. And same with our offensive coordinator, Coach Serenides. Like the game plans, the amount of time and work they put in every week for us is just amazing, honestly. And just a big shout out to them because honestly, the success of the last 2 seasons is a large part due to them.
Yeah, like what these guys are saying. We go in every game expecting to win. We never go in expecting to lose a game. And like Andrew was saying, we're not really like a rah-rah team. We're not jumping around before games. We're kind of just silent, focused, and then we just let our actions speak on the field.
Well, there you go. Do you guys have anything?
Yeah, so you guys, obviously you guys have been a great team. As players, is there anyone you really model your play after, anybody you look up to, any certain players?
I know for me, last year, Brett Mazer, he was one of our captains. He was also a tight end. That's what I played. He had a big influence on me. He was a great kid off the field, did all the right things, great player on the field. So I tried to model myself after him for sure.
Not trying to I didn't really try and model my play like anyone, but one person last year that I really admired, just knowing that he did everything right that he could, put in all the work that he could to achieve perfection, was John DeLuca. He was our senior captain last year. I admired everything he did from in school, out of school, on the field, off the field, in the weight room. Every decision he was making was right, and I knew that I would have to be like him as much as possible if I wanted to help lead the team well this year. Beside these 2 guys, Jack and Shane, being captains, had to model what he did because he did it so well.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to model after all the captains from last year, because obviously the captains that led us to our first championship, obviously you want to strive and be like them and have another championship to be able to represent King Phillips. And obviously Paul Macrina, John DeLuca, Brett Mason, and Dan Lewin all last year, as a junior last year, I just looked up to them and all the hard work and all the everything they put into the program.
All right, we will step away. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station, 1320 AM WARA, and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. You can call back when we come back at 508-222-1320. We are highlighting the 2017 Division II Super Bowl, Massachusetts Super Bowl state champions. We'll be back with more right after this. That's right.
True.
Good point. Good point.
I always read Diamond as Demon at first. It's be a cool name for a school. But
Demon Regional.
well, they are
Right.
spelled similar.
Demon Regional.
Hey, if you want
I
to call
tried
in.
on all of them too, but
Oh, yeah,
what?
just take.
I don't even know where half of these places are. So.
Southern Face Bishop Colonies or a Catholic school. That'd be funny.
If you want to call in, 508-222-1320. So, Coach, let's dive back into this interview real fast. Do you have anything at the top of your head you want to ask the guys? Or no?
No,
Greg?
honestly.
All right, I'm just
Go right
need you
ahead.
guys to
Yeah,
jump
sorry.
in too.
Sure.
So, Coach, now if someone wants to get involved with this program and they're transferring, how does it all lay out as far as preparation from the first training camp to, captain's practice?
Well, right now in the winter season, we're just getting underway with our weight room program. 6 o'clock in the morning to 7:15, we have weight training before school, and weight room's also open after school. So we go 3 days a week. Some of the guys will put in a little extra time, but basically Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays we're training at those points. And then once the springtime comes around, guys will start throwing on their own and doing some of the skill guys will start working. Some of the linemen will get together and do some work on their own. And over the summer, it's a lot. We got our gut camp again, which is our strength and conditioning camp over the summer. And also, 7-on-7, a lot of those passing leagues going on. And we do some other work with some other towns at camps. We go to Bay State camp. which is a regional camp. A lot of the teams, local teams, go there, and we work together. And then after that, the season officially starts, and we go up to Camp Mattaponi, which is our home camp that we go up to up in Naples, Maine. It's beautiful up there, and that's where we really become a team. And by the time we come back from Mattaponi, we're locked and loaded, ready to go for the season.
Now, when does that start? Well, I mean, how long is that? I'm sorry.
The camp, we
Yeah.
go up for just under a week, 5 days.
And yet, how much land do you have up there? A lot to.
Oh yeah, it's great. We have beautiful facilities. I always joke that I wish we could just stay up there all year long, but we have. I know, sure these guys would love it too. But no, they have great fields for us. Before when I first started coaching, trying to find a camp that had level fields up in New Hampshire or whatever, but Mattaponi really has great fields. There's plenty of space for us. We bring our freshmen too. They have their own area that they can practice.
Good.
So it's great. I mean, the kids are eating meals together.
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie. We have swim in the lake up there, and it's a lot of fun and games, really. We do some yoga on the beach.
Oh, they're smiling now, Coach. You should see them.
But no, we really do. We get a lot of work in, a lot of team bonding. I think, for these guys to go away with each other and to spend some time and really just, trying to keep focus on young men, trying to keep focus on anybody in this day and age is not an easy thing. And so you're up there, you're eliminating distractions, and we are all focused on our goal. And by the time we come out of there, we really feel like a team. We've gone through an experience that they'll remember forever. They'll talk about camp just as much as winning that Super Bowl, just being on that field, about all the memories they created up at Mattaponi. And they're very good to us up there, too.
Now, do you think that's something that's overlooked? Teams going away? Because I can remember I can't speak for you guys. I can remember the last time I heard someone basically going on a field trip, but to get ready for football.
Yeah.
And we're going to hold this call. We actually have a call. Before we get back to that, we'll go up. There we go. Hi, you're first on 4 Deep Sports Talk.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm curious to hear from Jack Pillars, see where he's planning on playing football next year in college.
Okay.
Not quite sure yet, but I'm looking at the D3 level, like Salve Regina, Western New England, University of New England. Those are really my top 3 choices.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Sir, do you have another
Thanks.
question?
I don't. I wish him luck. He had a great year. Proud of him.
Very good. Thank you for the call.
You got it.
That was a cool call. I like those calls. All right, what we'll do is we'll take another break. This is actually our last break. We'll come back. We finish up from the boys from King Philip. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the news station, 1320 AM WARA, and online, all one word, 4deepsportstalk.com. We are highlighting the 2017 Division II Massachusetts State Champions from the King Philip Warriors. We'll be back with more right after this.
Vesta Divorce is presenting a free workshop to learn how to plan for your finances through divorce discussions and afterwards. Learn about the financial implications of your divorce and what things to be aware of while going through the process and afterwards. The speakers at this informational event are Bob Vona and Samantha Steer with Sentinel Financial Group. The workshop will take place at Keller Williams Realty on Manmar Drive in Plainville on January 31st from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. There is no cost for attendance. However, registration is required. To register, you can call Dina at 508-744-6014.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to, are you? Kids, work, listening to the radio. You're busy, which is great because busy people can't get prediabetes. Oh my, I read that wrong. They can. Should have worn my glasses. So visit doihaveprediabetes.org and take a short test, because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
For over 46 years, Amigo Incorporated, located at 33 Perry Avenue in Attleboro, has been offering services and programs for children and adults with autism spectrum disorders and other disabilities. Amigo has been committed to building vital relationships with their expanding community on the local level. From day programs to transitional planning, Amigo provides a continuum of services and support for all ages. For more information, you can view their website at amigoinc.org.
Hey, welcome back. You are listening to 4 Deep Sports Talk here on the new station, 1320 AM WARA, and online, all one word. You can watch us or listen to the podcast off our website here at 4deepsportstalk.com. Lucia Cabral, Craig Salvador, Justin Ferreira, TJ Albin, I'm Dominic Damiano. You know, we need one more. We're going to have enough for a hockey team, I'll tell you right now, the way we're going. But before we had the phone call, we went to break, and I want to thank that caller for calling. I thought that was a great call. We talked about teams going away, because the first time I thought, see, they agree. I just think it's unique, because usually, and I'll use Middleborough and East Bridgewater. They Coach Toppy and Coach Kingman, who you know, they both went to East Bridgewater. So they said, "Hey, let's play each other." Then next, you know, they throw them they throw Middleborough in the South Shore Conference. They're not practicing together anymore. Yeah. And then I heard about how unique what you guys are. I think that's really cool. And the first thing that popped into my mind, I can't speak for these other guys, was the Titans, Clash of the Titans, the movie, how they went away. Right. And of course, back then there was a lot more BS involved, you know, because what they were going through down there at that time, and you know, in their lifetime down there. But you just don't hear about it. I think that's really unique. And what made you? I guess my other question was, what made you think about doing it? And how long have you been doing it now?
Since I've been at KP, my first year there, we didn't go away. I got hired late in April and kind of scrambling. But since then, we've gone away up to camp. But I grew up in that. My dad was a coach at Walpole High, and we always went to football camp. And it was, believe me, it was torturous. There was not as many restrictions and rules, and my father took full advantage of that and tortured us pretty good. But it really. Now as I grew, that, you know, still with all my buddies, we talk about camp so much, and just, even though it was grueling, it was just sometimes it's these guys' first time really away from home, you know, and it's something very special. But it's a hard thing to sell. We're lucky that our school, our admin, supports us and trusts us up there. I think that's why you see people don't want to do that. You know, more and more people don't want to take a risk, and things can go wrong up there, certainly, but you know, the program has, you know, the kids get what they're supposed to be doing up there, and they understand that there's a lot to be lost if they misbehave up there, and they do a good job of getting the work in and having appropriate fun, and it's been a real gift for us. Our band actually goes up the week before us.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, and there's so much. Believe me, so much of what we do at KP has been modeled off of our band, and so they helped us get into that camp with the good fields, and it's been a great situation. They actually line the fields before we get up there. It's perfect.
Now, as a coach and as a sports fan, at least you know who's committed to your program, because a lot of guys play AAU ball, or they're getting ready for summer lacrosse or something like that, or soccer, and you get those guys up there for how many weeks?
No, we just go up for 5 days.
Oh, 5 days. Well, still, that's a 5-day commitment.
Yeah.
Does the band go before you to give you a musical introduction?
And that's something we should have when we pull in, right?
Right. I was gonna be fresh and say it's like Mardi Gras. You know, the band's playing. Here comes the. I'm only kidding, but I just thought that was pretty cool. You know, the 5-day thing, and then. Because, you know, guys, parents pay for those AAU programs. You're out $3,000, $4,000. You better commit to one or the other, you know, and then you know, and your coaching staff knows. And if we could, the other thing I wanted to mention, if you could mention your coaching staff and give them some congrats. But I just think that's pretty unique that they do a 5-day. I haven't heard of that in a long time. Yeah. But if you don't mind giving a shout out to your coaching staff.
Oh, sure. I have, I have unbelievable coaches. It's really. They're the reason I think that we have success. Obviously, their work and the guys' buy into the process is the combination of what yields us success. And you know, we have John Saranides as our offensive coordinator, and Matt Wassel is our defensive coordinator, and those two guys really do so much. Greg Norris is our JV head coach, and also our running backs coach, and running backs. Thank you, DN's coach. You know, and then Matt Monahan just does everything for us, and he's also a JV coach and wide receivers coach, and works with the secondary as well. And Coach McGuire, Jay McGuire, is pretty much like my associate head coach. You know, he helps me. He's been coaching a long time. He's been a head coach. A lot of my guys have been head coaches, And so he gives me a lot of help, game day stuff, helps me with the clock and does our D-line for us and helps me with the young guys on O-line. And, Coach Prashad, who I actually coached when he was at Walpole High, does our, he does so much for us with the helping out with the defense, and he does some tight end work and some inside linebackers. So all those guys together really, do so much for us. And I would say even, he doesn't technically coach, but our head of our Gridiron program does so much for these boys to create resources. Like winning is expensive, and having success is trying to make sure that you have the right equipment. There's limited budgets now, throughout the state for everything. So making sure they have the equipment so that they're safe, so that they have the opportunities to, feeding them after after games and things like that really go a long way.
Absolutely. Do you guys have anything? I had one I was gonna roll into, but I want to let you guys get one in.
Yeah, I got a question.
Absolutely.
For all you guys. So, looking back into your first year of playing, for your freshman year, and then looking at your senior year, how do you look at it? Like, let me ask you, like going into high school and saying, okay, I want to play football, and then looking at your senior year playing the last game in Gillette, playing the Super Bowl. Talk about it.
So, freshman year, we had a very successful season. We had about 45 guys in our team, and we went 11-0 that season. There were no freshman playoffs, but we rolled through all of our games, and we had a lot of confidence in the next 3 years of high school that we could be good. And as each year went on, it turned out we lost guys that were whether they were on the sidelines or on the field, they were still key parts of the team. We lost 30 guys. We had about 15 seniors left senior year. And going into senior year, it was like, wow, I mean, we lost 30 dudes and there's only 15 seniors left standing here. It's yeah, we kept the dudes, as we'd like to say, the guys that were really the key pieces of the team that we needed to. I think it worked out perfectly, and it was just really special to see, to really just see how, by natural selection, who was left at the end, and it was it really created a bond between those 15 guys, and it was really cool. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Yeah, coming into freshman year, Pop Warner, a bunch of us actually played against each other rather than like with each other. So we kind of had like that rivalry, Norfolk versus King Philip back in the day. But then once you get to the high school, you're playing with all these guys, so they become your brothers. And like Andrew said, we had a great freshman year, won every game. But then as the years kept going, we just kept losing more and more guys. And talking to those guys now, I know they're saying they wish they stuck with it, like they wish they played, but I mean, we kept the guys that just worked through everything, were committed, and it paid off. And I know for me, it was so emotional after we won the Super Bowl. I know all of us were in tears of just joy because of all the relief, and just it was awesome.
Yeah, so going off what Pillar said, going into freshman year, like all of us, like all through my Pop Warner years, I always went against KP, and it was a huge rivalry. Right as you get together in freshman year, it's just amazing how the bonds you make with all your friends and stuff. And like they all said, it's like fighting with your brothers every day. And I think that was a huge part of senior year. Like all of us bought into each other. We're all like best friends with each other. We're brothers. And going in every game, you just want to fight for them and just work as hard as you can. I think that just speaks like tremendously to how much of like a brothership like everyone at KP is, and how all of us are just. We just do anything for each other. Like, we'll take a bullet for each other.
All right, I got one more real fast. We got under 3 minutes left, but Nate Rollins, he's one of our writers. He covers the Whitman-Hanson area, and he just sent me a text mentioning about how you lost the starting quarterback in the Super Bowl. Could you just touch on that, Coach?
Sure.
And then you had the backup come back to help you guys go down the field and win the game.
Sure. So basically, our halftime adjustments when we went in and we were down 7-0 at the half, and I kind of felt like we had dodged a bullet right before the half because they had pretty good field position. They didn't score. Defense held them, so we were able to get out of there just being down 7-0. And I knew that my coaching staff makes pretty good halftime adjustments. And so when we came out, most of our offensive plan was to throw a little bit more. We were having a lot of trouble getting some yardage with Shane on the ground. So we were going to put the game a little bit more in Brendan's hands, which he had done for us in 2016. And then you look up, and he's on the ground, and he's obviously in pain. I knew his ankle was broken right away.
Ouch.
And I said, oh, well, there goes the halftime adjustments. We'll just do what we know now. We'll get somebody else in here. We'll have Robert come in and just hand it to Shane. And that was pretty much the plan. And it was a third and long. And I was just going to run it and punt it. And because I didn't want to put the kid in a bad situation. Coach Monahan actually said, let's just throw a fade, let's just throw a fade to Madden, and if they intercept it, it'll be like a punt. And I said, all right, well, you sell me on it. And the kid drops back, threw a nice ball, big completion, and really that play changed the whole momentum. We really had nothing going on offense up until that play. And then a few plays later, Shane ran it in for a touchdown. And once we tied it up, I really think our guys were energized, knew that we could win it, and we could win it on defense, and we could, we like it. We always say that the tighter the game, the better we play, and these guys do a great job with that. But Robert coming in as a sophomore in a huge game, he hadn't played any real valuable time all year long, and his first play he fumbled the snap.
Okay.
And he was able to come in and shake that off. He's got a real chill attitude. As
there
a
you go.
sophomore. So, but you're playing in front of a lot of people,
Right.
And to handle the game like he did is good news for next year.
That's great. I know we only got 30 seconds left. I know TJ was foaming at the mouth with one more question, but we only got 30. We only got 30.
Quick question
seconds.
for all of you: what words of advice would you give freshmen coming in to people who are trying to get into football?
Real fast.
So a quick word of advice I'd have to some of them is it's very simple, but never give up, because like I said, you lose a bunch of guys as the years go on. You go from 45 to 15. So even if you're the 45th guy on the team, you could eventually be that 15th guy, and you'll have a huge role on the team. Like all 15 of our seniors had a good role. So I'd say if you stick with it, in the end, you'll find your place.
All right, we got to get off. I'm sorry, we got to go. I'm sorry about that. He was ready to go. He was ready. But real fast, I just want to say from all of us at 4 Deep Sports Talk and 1320 AM, WARA, we just want to say congratulations, great season. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We want to wish you the best. For Lucy Cabral, Craig Salvador, TJ Albin, Justin Ferrer, I'm Dominic Damiano. We hope you enjoyed this hour of 4 Deep Sports Talk as we highlighted the 2017 Division II Massachusetts State Champions, the Warriors from King Philip. We will catch you next time. Everybody have a fantastic weekend.